The rain tastes like copper tonight. I've been dead for 3 years, and I still remember that. The way rain tastes when you're driving toward the thing that killed you. Metallic. Wrong. Like licking a bullet before it finds your heart. My name is Jack Malone. I was a detective once. San Francisco PD, Homicide Division. Tonight I'm going to tell you about the Blue Motel. About the place where dead men go to solve the cases that made them dead. About my mother, who died there 21 years before I did. About the truth that runs in bloodlines like poison runs in water. Shadow and Sax Radio presents The Blue Motel. Pour a drink, something strong, kill the lights. And whatever you do, if you see blue neon flickering on an empty highway, don't stop. Don't ever stop.
I was already dead when I checked into the Blue Motel. I just didn't know it yet. 8 years on the job. 3 years in the ground. Still counting. Always counting. That's what dead men do when they can't remember they're dead. They count. That's my thing. I count. Exits, witnesses, bullet holes. Days since last sleep. Years since I was happy. Hours since I've felt real. Numbers don't lie. People do. Evidence lies. Memory lies. But numbers? Numbers just sit there being true. 8 years wearing the badge. 3 years wearing the grave. One last case to solve. The math never added up until tonight. The rain started somewhere around the Nevada border. Not the clean kind that washes sins away. The dirty kind that turns your windshield into a confessional screen, showing you every mistake you've made for the last 40 years. Every lie you told. Every promise you broke. Every person you failed. I counted them. All 40 years of mistakes. Had nothing better to do for 6 hours on an empty highway. Had nothing but time and rain and the sound of tires on wet asphalt. 6 hours on the road. 6 hours since leaving San Francisco. 6 hours since walking away from my empty apartment, with nothing but a suitcase and a resignation letter I'd never file, because, apparently, I was already dead. The highway had that empty quality that makes you question if you're still in the world, or if you'd slipped into some pocket dimension God forgot about. Some place between life and death, where the rules don't quite work right. 0 other cars. 0 lights, except my headlights cutting through the rain, like searchlights through smoke. 0 radio stations except static, and 1 jazz song I knew but couldn't name. A song that made my chest hurt for reasons I couldn't remember. Maybe you've driven a road like this. Empty. Late. With the kind of rain that makes you think about the things you never fixed. The people you let down. The cases that got away. The woman who stopped loving you because you loved truth more than you loved her. I stopped counting those. There were too many. That's when I saw it. A sign. Hand-painted. The letters bleeding in the rain. The Blue Motel. Vacancy. 2 miles. I counted the words. 4 words that shouldn't exist. Here's the thing. I'd driven this stretch of highway a dozen times. 12 times exactly. There was nothing out here but desert and regret. No motel, no gas station. Nothing but the kind of emptiness that makes you remember why you left home in the first place. But my eyes were burning. My back felt like it had been worked over with a pipe. And I needed coffee that could strip paint off a car. So when those blue neon lights shimmered through the rain 2 miles later, I pulled off. First mistake. Wouldn't be my last. I'd stopped keeping count of my mistakes years ago. The motel sounded old. Not just old, ancient. Like it had been waiting there since the Depression. The rain hit the metal roof wrong. Too soft. Like it was landing on something that wasn't quite solid. Like it was falling on memory instead of metal. I counted the room numbers I could make out through the rain. 15 the first time, 14 the second. I blinked and counted again. 13. Numbers don't lie, but apparently dead men can't count for shit. The neon sign buzzed and flickered above me. The Blue Motel. Underneath, no vacancy. But the no was dark, burned out, or deliberately turned off. Like the motel was saying vacancy and no vacancy at the same time. Every room silent, every window dark except one. The office at the corner, where yellow light leaked out with that watery quality cheap curtains give. My detective's instinct, the part of me that wouldn't die no matter how much whiskey I poured on it, counted the details. 0 cars in the lot except mine. 0 sound from inside any of the rooms. 0 footprints in the wet gravel except the ones I was making. 0 chance this was real. And the air smelled like ozone and old photographs, like storms and memories and things that should have stayed buried, like the inside of an evidence locker where they keep the cold cases. Something felt wrong here, but wrong in a way I couldn't name yet. Wrong in a way that made my teeth ache, like hearing your own voice on a recording and not quite recognizing it. I should have gotten back in the car, should have kept driving until I hit LA, or the ocean, whichever came first. But I didn't. Because here's my flaw, the thing that destroyed every relationship I ever had. I never could walk away from a case. Not when there were questions that needed answering. Not when the truth was hiding just out of reach. I never solved the case that broke me. The Henderson case. Maybe that's why the motel brought me back. Lost one marriage to the job. Susan. She left on a Tuesday. Lost count of the birthdays and anniversaries I missed. Somewhere around 30, I stopped keeping track. Lost a fiancé who couldn't compete with corpses and case files. Rachel. She proposed to me. I said yes. Then I forgot about her for 3 weeks. There's a special exhaustion that comes from dying for a truth nobody else will ever hear. My partner, Sarah Prescott, used to joke that I was married to the badge, but there was truth in it. She'd count the days between when I remembered to eat. Sometimes it was 3, sometimes 5. Once it was 8. 8 days. Numbers don't lie about what matters to you. A detective doesn't run from the truth, he runs toward it. Even when it's already killed him once. Even when the math says it'll kill him twice. The office smelled like old paper and regret. Faded wallpaper with water stains. A desk that creaked like a guilty conscience. A registry book older than most of the people in San Francisco. The kind of place that collected stories like dust. And behind the desk, a man with a voice I didn't recognize, but somehow knew. Room 7. Not a question. Not an offer. A statement of fact. That stopped me cold. I haven't checked in yet. Haven't you? He pushed something across the desk. A registration card. The page already open. My name was there. Written in handwriting that could have been mine, but wasn't quite right. Jack Malone. Room 7, September 17th, 1952. Today's date. But I hadn't called ahead. Hadn't even known this place existed until 20 minutes ago. There's some mistake. I've never. 20th time. His voice was quiet, ancient, resigned. You've never been here. You always say that. This is your 20th attempt. You died 19 times before this. The order never changes. The temperature dropped. I swear I could hear ice forming in my veins. I counted the words he just said. 23 words. Counted them twice. Tried to make them make sense. Failed. Who the hell are you? There it is, right on schedule. He almost smiled. Almost. The question isn't who I am, detective. The question is how many times you'll check into room 7 before you remember what happened there. What happened there? You died there. He said it the way you'd say, it's raining. Simple. True. Inevitable. You died there, and you'll keep dying there, every 3 years, until you solve what needs solving. Every instinct I had left was screaming at me to leave, to get back in the car and drive until the gas ran out, or until I hit the ocean, whichever came first. But the key was already in my hand. I don't remember him giving it to me. Don't remember reaching out to take it. But it was there anyway. Old brass, worn smooth by too many hands, cold and heavy as a guilty verdict. The key to room 7. The key to everything. I just didn't know it yet. "What is this place?" He paused. Long. I could hear him breathing. Slow, measured, like someone who'd learned patience over centuries. "A place people find when they're looking for something they've lost. Or when something they've lost is looking for them. A place between here and there." Another pause. Longer this time. "Your mother stayed here once. Room 7. 1931. 21 years before you. Margaret Malone." Do you believe in bloodlines, detective? Do you believe some debts get passed down from parent to child? I couldn't breathe, couldn't speak, couldn't count high enough to make this make sense. My mother, dead at 32. Pneumonia, they said. I was 6 years old. I counted the days until I stopped crying. 47 days. My mother died in San Francisco. Pneumonia. When I was 6. Did she? His voice was quiet, knowing, sad. "The coffee's already brewing in your room. It's always hot. It never runs out. Some things here don't follow the rules you remember." I could hear him turning away, papers rustling. Done with me. Checkout time is whenever you remember. Most people never do. I left the office. The rain had stopped, just like that. Complete silence except for my footsteps and the sound of my breathing. If you're still here with me, good. That means you care about the truth. The motel stretched out in front of me, however many rooms it wanted there to be. I counted the room numbers as I passed them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then the count broke. Between room 6 and room 8, there should have been room 7. But there was nothing. Just empty space. Just a gap where a door should be. I counted again. Same result. 6, nothing. 8. The key in my hand said 7, clear as day, stamped into the brass. If you were listening in the car right now, you'd swear you miscounted too. Numbers don't lie. But apparently motels do. That's when I heard it. Music. Jazz. Drifting from somewhere I couldn't quite place. The same song that had been on my car radio before the static took over. A song I knew but couldn't name. A song that made my chest hurt for reasons I couldn't explain. Mournful. Slow. The kind of jazz they play at funerals. I went back to where room 7 should have been. That empty space between 6 and 8. And when I listened, really listened, I could hear something. Coffee brewing. A radio playing. Someone's breath. Pages turning. The door opened by itself. I went in because that's what detectives do. The room smelled like every cheap motel room I'd ever been in. Cigarettes and desperation, and cleaning products that didn't quite work. But underneath, something else. Something familiar. Lavender, the cheap drugstore kind. My mother's perfume. Coffee brewing on the nightstand. Steam rising. Cup already there. A newspaper on the bed. I could hear the pages rustle like someone had just set it down. Crossword section open. I picked it up. The handwriting in the puzzle wasn't mine. Similar, but more feminine. Rounder. Gentler. My mother's handwriting. I'd recognize it anywhere. I counted the completed clues. 3 answers filled in. 7 to cross. What the dead cannot do. Forget. 13 down. Mother's gift to son. Truth 22. Across, the only thing that survives death. Witness 7. 13. 22. I counted them again. The numbers felt important. Felt like they meant something. The pen on the bed was still warm. Like my mother had just set it down. 36 years ago. And on the wall, I could hear them. 4 picture frames. The glass reflecting sound differently than the walls. 4 distinct echoes. I reached out. The glass was cold, but for just a second, just a fraction of a second, I felt warmth behind me, heard breathing that wasn't mine, smelled lavender stronger than before. "Mom?" I whispered. Nothing. Just the rain starting up again outside. And then, the telephone rang. Now, here's what I didn't know then. Answering that phone was going to show me the truth about the Henderson case, about the motel, about why my mother had been in this exact room 21 years before me. But ignorance is a luxury you lose the moment you pick up the receiver. I picked up. Static at first, then something underneath the static. Someone breathing. Then a woman's voice, distant, echoing, like she was calling from the bottom of a well. "Jack, you came back. Knew you would. They always come back. The ones who can't let go." "Who is this?" "You know who I am. You've known since you saw my photograph." The rain stopped, just like that. Like someone had thrown a switch. And in that silence, I could hear them. Footsteps in the hallway. Slow, deliberate, coming toward my room, heavy footsteps. Men's shoes on concrete. More than one. Maybe 3. Maybe 4. Someone walking through a motel with 0 other guests. "That's impossible," I said to myself. "Nothing's impossible here, Jack. This is the Blue Motel. This is where truth comes to die. Or to be reborn. Depends on who's telling the story." "Evelyn Henderson." She gave a small laugh. Sad. Broken. "Good. You remember my name. That's further than you got the last 19 times. What are you talking about?" "Jack, don't open the door. Not yet. You're not ready for who's out there." "Who's?" "There's so much you don't remember. They made sure of that. The case you think you're running from? That's not the real case. The real case started 3 years ago, on a night just like this one. 3 years. That number again. September 17th, 1949. Something slid under the door. An envelope. "Under the door, Jack. Open it. It's time you remembered what they took from you." The phone went dead. I went to the door, picked up the envelope. Inside, photographs. I could feel their weight, their glossy surface. 4 of them. The first one, I could tell from the texture it was older. Different photo stock. The Blue Motel, but from decades ago. The second, sticky residue on the back. Evidence tag. Crime scene photo. Room 7, blood on the walls. The third. My detective shield was in the photo. September 17th, 1949. 3 years ago tonight. The fourth. I flipped it over. Handwriting on the back. Margaret Malone, 1931. My mother. The photograph crumbled in my hands, like it had never been real at all, like memory turned to ash. I didn't open the door, but it opened anyway. The footsteps stopped outside my door. No knock, no voice, just breathing. Multiple people breathing. And then, nothing. Just silence and my heartbeat, which sounded loud enough to wake the dead. If they weren't already awake. They passed my door, kept going, down the hallway, toward the far end where the numbers got higher. A door in the distance opened, closed. I followed the sound because that's what detectives do. Even dead detectives who should know better. Even when following sounds in impossible motels gets you killed. Again. The hallway felt longer than it should be. Much longer. The L shape that housed 15 rooms. Or 13. Or however many the motel decided it needed tonight. Stretched out like it went on forever. My footsteps echoed wrong. Like the space was bending around me. Like I was walking through a tunnel that existed in more than 3 dimensions. I counted my steps. Lost track around 47. Started over. Lost track again. The walls felt closer together than they should be. The ceiling lower. The air thicker. Like the motel was contracting around me. Like it was trying to keep me in or keep something else out. I passed the rooms. Each one had its own sound, its own story hiding behind cheap wood. Room 8, a man crying, broken sobs that sounded like surrender. Room 9, a woman laughing, but it sounded like breaking glass, like madness wearing joy's mask. Room 10, complete silence. Silence so thick it had weight, the kind that presses down on your chest. Room 11, whispers. Multiple voices overlapping. We tried to tell them, tried to warn them, wouldn't listen. Behind every door in this motel was a truth someone died to hide. Behind the next one was mine. Room 12, light coming from inside. I could hear her, a woman, breathing, papers rustling. "Evelyn?" I said quietly. The papers stopped rustling. The door opened. Not me opening it, just opened. "Hello, Jack." Her voice was slightly out of sync with itself. "It's been a long time. For you, anyway. For me, it's been an eternity." She was sitting on the bed, blonde, early 30s, the kind of beautiful that breaks men. Evelyn Henderson, missing 3 years, presumed dead. Do ghosts recognize each other? Or do we all pretend we're still breathing? "You're dead. I saw the crime scene photos. I was assigned to your case." "You were assigned to my case, yes. September 17th, 1949. You were a good detective then, Jack. Honest, thorough. You followed every lead, even when they threatened you. Pause. And you discovered the truth. That's why they killed you." Everything stopped. The hum of electricity in the walls went silent. The rain outside forgot how to fall. The motel was listening. "I'm not dead. I'm here. I'm talking to you. I drove here from San Francisco." "Did you?" Her voice was gentle, patient, like explaining death to a child. "Think back, Jack. Really think. When was the last time you ate? Slept? When was the last time someone looked you in the eye and actually saw you? If you're thinking I'm overreacting, give it 30 seconds. You won't be." I tried to remember. The drive from San Francisco, getting in the car. But the details were fuzzy, like trying to remember a dream after waking. Something was wrong. Very wrong. I remembered the highway, the rain, but I couldn't remember stopping for gas. Couldn't remember seeing another car. When was the last time you heard your own heartbeat? Silence. Nothing. No beat. No pulse. "Oh God," I whispered. "Let me tell you what happened, Jack. Let me tell you the story you've forgotten 19 times before." She moved closer. Floorboards creaked. 3 years ago, I was married to Thomas Henderson. You knew him. Everyone in San Francisco knew him. Real estate developer, city councilman, philanthropist. The kind of man who looked good in newspapers and looked even better at charity galas where rich people pretend to care about the poor. But I discovered something. By accident. I was looking for Christmas, decorations in his study. Isn't that absurd? Looking for Christmas decorations. I found a false wall behind the bookshelf. Behind it, ledgers. The real books. His business partners. The Giacalone family. They were using his developments to launder money. Millions moving through buildings that existed on paper, but not in reality. Tenants who paid rent, but didn't exist. A whole shadow economy running through my husband's empire. I found the ledgers, made copies, hid them. And I told Thomas I wanted a divorce. That was my mistake. I showed my hand too early. Thought he'd let me go. Thought he'd choose his wife over his empire. She laughed. Bitter. Broken. The kind of laugh that used to be joy before something killed it. I thought wrong. They brought me here, to the Blue Motel. This place that doesn't exist on maps. That only appears when someone needs to disappear so thoroughly that even memory can't find them. They kept me here. 3 days. I counted, waiting for Thomas to decide what to do with me. Whether to let me live and risk the truth getting out, or kill me. and make sure it never would. But you found me, Jack. How? I whispered. Pause, heavy with meaning. You tracked me here, did the legwork, followed the receipts, traced the credit cards. You drove out here on a night just like this one. Same rain, same empty highway, same neon sign. You found me in this room. Room 12. I was alive then. Scared, but alive. I told you everything. You said you'd protect me. You called your partner from the phone in room 7. Told her where you were, what you'd found. That's when they found us. Pause. She was remembering, living it again. Thomas's men. 4 of them. Mickey Strand, Paulie Delacroix, 2 others. They kicked down the door while you were on the phone. You drew your gun. Fast. Got off 2 shots. Hit Mickey in the shoulder, Paulie in the leg. Good shots. But there were 4 of them and 1 of you. She touched her chest. They shot you 3 times. I counted them. 1, 2, 3. Chest. Stomach. Throat. You went down in room 7. Bled out on the same carpet you'd be standing on 3 years later. I screamed your name. Ran to you. I should have run for the door. But I couldn't leave you there dying. The room felt smaller as she talked, like the walls were closing in. That's when they shot me too. 1 bullet. Right here. She touched her chest again. I died holding your hand, Jack. Both of us bleeding out. Both of us counting the seconds until we stopped breathing. You got to 47. I counted for you. Then you stopped. They made it look like a murder-suicide. Planted evidence in your apartment. Made you look corrupt. Destroyed your reputation so thoroughly that no one questioned it. Your partner, Sarah, tried. God, she tried. But without evidence, the case went cold. You became just another dirty cop. I became just another missing woman. And the Blue Motel, it kept us, trapped us, because we died with unfinished business. Pause. Every 3 years, on the anniversary, you drive to this place. You check in. You remember. And then, she snapped her fingers. The loop resets. You forget everything. You wake up 3 years in the past. This is your 20th attempt, Jack. 19 times you've died. 19 times you've forgotten. As she spoke, the room began to change, and I remembered. Flashes, echoes. Myself in this room 19 times before. My own voice. Overlapping. Multiple versions. I'm not dead. I can't be dead. Please, please just let me go. This isn't real. How many times have I done this? The echoes faded. The room settled. If I'd stopped there, maybe I'd have lived longer. But I never did know when to quit. 20 times, I said quietly. But this time might be different. This time, you have something you didn't have before. What? Your mother. The photograph on the wall, the one of Margaret Malone from 1931, began to hum. Not loud, just barely audible. Your mother came here in 1931, 21 years before you were born, before she married your father, before she became Margaret Malone and stopped being Maggie Brennan, investigative journalist for the San Francisco Chronicle. She was a good one, the kind who asked uncomfortable questions and didn't stop asking until she got answers. She was investigating corruption in California politics, following a trail of bribes and kickbacks that led from Sacramento to San Francisco to right here, to the Blue Motel. She discovered something about the motel's original owners, about how it was being used as a way station for corrupt politicians even then, a place where deals got made and evidence got buried and people who knew too much got disappeared. She wrote about it, tried to expose it, tried to bring it into the light. But she did something before she died. She made a choice. She refused to leave, refused to let the truth die with her. She anchored herself here, and the motel changed. Thunder rolled, closer now. She's been here ever since, Jack. Watching, waiting, hoping that someday someone from her bloodline would come back and finish what she started. That someone is you. The crossword, the numbers, 7, 13, 22. She's been leaving you clues every time, every loop, hoping this would be the one where you finally understood. At the time, I didn't understand what the motel was showing me. Wouldn't realize the truth until it was too late. How do I break it? How do I get out? The same way she wanted to, with evidence, with proof. A drawer opened. You hid something before they killed you, right here in this room, 30 seconds before they broke down the door. She unwrapped oilcloth. Inside, a key. Small, copper. Old. Number stamped on it. 115. Safe deposit box. First Fidelity Bank. I put the evidence there before coming to the motel. Yes, it's still there, Jack. In the real world, in a vault. All the proof anyone would need. But I'm dead. I'm a ghost. What am I supposed to do? You can't. But someone alive can. Footsteps. Multiple. Running. Getting closer. They're coming. Henderson's men. They're trapped here too. They want to make sure the loop keeps going forever. That the truth stays buried. The footsteps were right outside now. Room 7, Jack. Go back to room 7. That's where you died. That's where your mother died. That's where you'll find a way to pass the key to someone who can use it. Door handle rattling. Wood splintering. Who? Your partner, Sarah Prescott. She never gave up on you. She drives past this highway every year, looking for you. The door burst open. Tonight, she's coming, and you're going to make sure she finds you. I ran. Being dead doesn't mean you can't feel fear. My legs moved, my lungs burned, my heart hammered even though I was pretty sure I didn't have a heart anymore. I crashed out of room 12 into the hallway. Behind me, footsteps, heavy, multiple, men who'd killed me once. Malone, you're already dead. We can't kill you twice, but we can make eternity real unpleasant. The key jingled in my hand. The key to everything. The key to breaking the loop. The key to justice. It burned in my palm like a piece of the sun. I ran toward room 7. The door was already open. The motel itself was helping me. The truth, 30 to weeks, 45s a weeks. Room 7's door swung wide as I reached it. I dove inside, slammed it behind me. The lock clicked even though I hadn't touched it. Everything exactly as I'd left it. Coffee still brewing, newspaper still open, photographs still on the wall. But now I understood. Pounding on the door. Violent. Wood shaking. Open up, Malone. Give us the key. More pounding. 4 photographs. 4 deaths. 4 truths. I pulled them off the wall. The frames clattered to the floor. Glass breaking into patterns that looked like constellations. And behind them, carved into the drywall, the motel remembers. The motel witnesses. The motel is not hell. It's the jury room. Nobody leaves until the truth gets its say. Below that, in different handwriting. Lighter, more careful, feminine. They can kill the messenger, but they can't kill the message. Box 115. Make them remember. Mom, my mother's words. Written who knows how long ago. Waiting for me. Waiting for the 20th loop. The door burst open. Wood splintering. Frame cracking. 3 men forcing their way in. 3 sets of footsteps. I counted them. 2 I recognized from my memories. Mickey Strand. Polly Delacroix. Button men. Professional killers. But it was the 3rd man whose voice made my breath catch. Detective Malone. Thomas Henderson himself. His voice filled the room like smoke fills a burning room. Smooth, cultured, expensive. Everything a San Francisco city councilman should sound like. Still playing hero, even in death. Still counting your way through the evidence. That's admirable, detective. Stupid, but admirable. Henderson, you got stuck here too, huh? Guess murder has consequences? He laughed. Bitter. Died 2 years ago. Heart attack, officially. But apparently guilt counts for something in the cosmic accounting system. Got me assigned to this lovely establishment. He moved closer. I could hear his footsteps, expensive shoes on cheap carpet. The sound of wealth trying to navigate poverty. Each step deliberate. Each step counted. Funny thing about the Blue Motel, it's democratic in a way the living world never was. Doesn't care about your money, your connections, your position in life, your political donations, your newspaper endorsements, rich or poor, corrupt or honest. We all check in eventually if we've got blood on our hands, if we've tried to bury truth, if we've killed to keep secrets safe. The difference is, I said, my voice steady. I was trying to save someone. You were trying to bury your crimes, trying to save your empire, your reputation, your freedom. Same result though, isn't it? We're all dead, all trapped in this place, all playing our parts in this little morality play the motel likes to stage every 3 years. Only difference is I've accepted it, made my peace with it. You keep fighting, keep dying over and over, hoping this time will be different. 2 more steps closer. I counted them. 1, 2. Now he was close enough that I could smell him. Expensive cologne trying to hide the smell of decay, the smell of corruption, the smell of a man who'd been dead for 2 years but didn't want to admit it. Give me the key, detective. Box 115. I know what's in it. My wife's evidence, the copies she made of my ledgers, the proof of money laundering, racketeering, conspiracy, murder, all of it. Give it to me, and I'll make sure your loop ends peacefully. You can rest. No more rain pounding on your windshield. No more driving through empty highways toward death. No more waking up every 3 years in this same room. No more dying. No more forgetting. No more counting. Just quiet. Peace. Eternal rest. For a moment. Just a moment. It sounded nice. Really nice. 3 years of this loop. 3 years of dying and forgetting and dying again. 20 times dying. 20 times bleeding out on this carpet while counting my last breaths. 144 gunshot wounds total if you counted them all up. 3 shots. 20 deaths. 144 holes in my ghost. 0 chance I'd ever win this fight. No more waking up every 3 years in the same room to die the same death. No more remembering just long enough to fail again. No more seeing my mother's crossword puzzle and not understanding. No more hearing Evelyn's voice on the phone and knowing I couldn't save her. Just quiet. Just peace. Just surrender. Just giving up and letting the corruption win because I was tired of fighting. That's how corruption always sells itself. Not as money or power. Not as the thing it really is. But as relief. As rest. As an end to pain. As mercy. As the smart choice. As what anyone would do. But that's not who I was. That's not who my mother raised me to be, even if I only had 6 years with her before the motel took her and my father lied about it. A detective doesn't run from the truth. He runs toward it, even when it's already killed him 20 times, even when he's already dead. No deal, Henderson. Some cases don't get to stay cold. His voice darkened. Boys, take the key from him, whatever it takes. Footsteps. Strand and Delacroix moving forward. The temperature dropped so fast I could see my breath. And that's when she appeared. Jackie. Her voice. Soft. Warm. The voice I'd been listening for since I was 6 years old. Everything stopped. Complete silence. Mom? My voice broke. My boy. You came back. Just like I knew you would. I was 42 years old when I died. But hearing her voice, I was 6 again. 6 years old, and wondering why she wouldn't wake up. Not a hospital, Jackie. It was here. Room 7. They killed me for getting too close. Your father, he couldn't handle it. Couldn't admit what really happened. So he lied. Told you pneumonia. Raised you to be good and honest and everything he wasn't. She moved, positioning herself between me and Henderson. You're not getting the key, Thomas. You're not stopping my son. You're not burying any more truth. Henderson sneered. You're just a ghost, Maggie. You can't. The motel shuddered. Deep rumble, walls vibrating. Her voice changed. Deeper, ancient, powerful. You forget where you are, Thomas. I was the first to check into the Blue Motel. There was nothing here before me. Just a real motel on a real highway where real murders happened. But when I died, when they killed me for getting too close to their truth, I made a choice. The power building, electric charge in the air. I refuse to leave. I refuse to let the truth die with me. I anchored myself here with all the rage and love and determination a dying woman can muster. With the only power the dead have, the power to refuse. And the motel changed, became something that had never existed before. A courtroom for the guilty. A jury room where the only evidence that matters is truth. Where money can't buy your way out. Where the dead finally get their say. Every person who checks in here, they're here because of me. Because I willed this place into being. Because someone has to keep score when the living world stops counting. Pause. The truth settling. The motel wasn't punishing you, Jackie. It was preparing you. Because truths that you run from eventually learn how to follow. Henderson backing away, stumbling. The Blue Motel is not hell. It's the jury room, and I am the court. Judgment. Final and absolute. And Thomas Henderson, your verdict is in. The floor opened. Not physically, but reality itself tore. Room 13, where all the truly guilty go. Where you'll spend eternity reliving your crimes from every perspective but your own. Feeling what your wife felt when she realized you were going to kill her. Feeling what Jack felt when your men shot him. Feeling what I felt when your father's business partners did the same to me in 1931. Henderson screamed. No, no, please! Running footsteps. Desperate. A door opened to somewhere else. Wrong sounds coming through. Screaming. Fading. Henderson and his men pulled into the darkness. The door slammed. Final. Silence. Just rain starting again. Gentle now. Mom, I whispered. I know, baby. I missed you too. She came closer. I felt her hand on my face. Warmth. You did good, Jackie. You became everything I hoped. A good man. A good cop. The kind of person who runs toward truth even when it kills him. Twice, I said, trying to laugh through tears. It killed me twice. She laughed softly. 20 times. But only this time mattered. The 20th time. The time you finally remembered before they killed you. The time you broke the loop. She kissed my forehead. But now you need to finish it. You need to get that evidence to someone who can use it. Sarah, my partner, she's coming. Tonight. Right now. And you're going to give her what she needs. Footsteps. Someone new entering. Miss Margaret, Detective Malone, it's almost time. The clerk, his voice respectful. Ancient. Time for what? I asked. Time for the handoff. Time for you to pass the torch. The clerk came closer. And now that I could hear him properly, I could hear things I'd missed before. The way he breathed. Slow, measured. The sound of rope burns under his sleeves. How long have you been here? I asked. Pause. Heavy with weight. I stopped counting after the 1st century. Silence. Letting that sink in. What? I checked in here in 1847. Gold rush. Murder over a claim. I thought I'd stay for one night. He laughed. Bitter. Sad. That was room 4. That was 105 years ago. I'm still here. Still serving coffee. Still watching people try to break their loops while I can't break mine. You're trapped too. We're all trapped, detective. Some of us just have better furniture. Pause. But I've made my peace with it. 105 years is a long time to learn patience. And every time someone breaks their loop, every time truth wins, it feels like progress. Detective Prescott will be driving past in approximately 30 minutes, he said. She makes this drive every year, looking for you. How do I give her the key? I can't leave the motel. You can't leave physically. But the key, he picked it up from the nightstand. Keys have power, detective. They open things, locks, doors, truths, connections between worlds. If you leave this key at the threshold, the place where the motel touches the highway, where the living world meets the dead, she'll find it. She'll know what it means. He placed the key in my hand. Metal on skin. Break the loop, detective, so someone else doesn't have to spend a century wondering if they'll ever get free. Go on, Jackie, my mother said. One last case. One last truth to tell. Then you can rest. I went outside. The rain had stopped, but I could still hear it in memory. Still taste copper on my tongue. The key felt heavy in my hand. Heavier than any piece of evidence I'd ever carried. Heavier than guilt. Heavier than truth. Heavier than 3 years of death. Because it wasn't just evidence. It was hope. It was justice delayed, but not denied. It was my mother's 36-year mission starting in 1931 when she first checked into room 7 and refused to leave. It was my 3-year loop starting in 1949 when I bled out on the same carpet. It was Evelyn's murder and the clerk's century of serving coffee and every truth this motel had witnessed since it stopped being just a motel and became a jury room. All of it in one small copper key. All of it depending on whether Sarah would find it, whether she'd believe it, whether she'd fight for it. The rain on my face felt different than inside. Cold, clean, real. More real than anything inside the motel. I could taste it on my lips, metallic and pure, like copper, like the rain that brought me here. Could smell the ozone and desert sage, and something else. Something that smelled like freedom, like morning, like the world beyond this place. A car in the distance, engine sound, getting closer, growing louder. I'd know that engine anywhere. The slightly rough idle of a '52 Chevrolet that needed a tune-up. The faint squeal in the left brake that Sarah kept meaning to fix, but never did. The crooked headlamp casting light at the wrong angle because she'd hit a mailbox 2 years ago and never got it straightened. Sarah's car. My partner. The only person who never stopped believing. The only person who kept driving past this highway every year for 3 years, looking for something she couldn't name. Looking for a motel her rational mind told her didn't exist, but her heart knew did. Looking for me. I went to the highway edge, where the gravel met the asphalt, where the motel's property ended and the real world began. The asphalt felt more real than anything inside the motel. Solid. Permanent. The kind of ground that exists in both worlds at once. Right there, detective, the clerk's voice drifted from the motel. The place where both worlds touch. I knelt down. If you've made it this far, this is the part you'll remember later. Placed the key on the asphalt, right there at the edge. Metal on stone. That clink. So clear. So true. It made my chest ache. I stood back, waited, counted my heartbeats that weren't really beating. Sarah's car drew near, slowing down like she did every year at this spot. Like some part of her knew. The car passed. For a moment. Just a moment. I thought she'd drive by. Then her brake lights flared, red in the darkness. The car stopped, engine idling. Then, reversing. Tires on wet asphalt. The car stopped, right next to where the key waited. Engine cut. Door opened. Footsteps. Woman's shoes on asphalt. What the hell? Sarah said to herself, confused, cautious. Her footsteps came closer. Her flashlight swept the highway. The beam stopped. Focused. Found the key. Metal glinting on wet asphalt. Impossible. Out of place. A key that shouldn't exist, lying on a highway in the middle of nowhere. Footsteps. Faster now. Purposeful. Cop footsteps. The kind that mean business. Kneeling down. I could hear her breathing change. Hear her cop brain working. Hear her trying to make sense of what she was seeing. What the hell is this doing here? She picked it up. Metal on skin. Warm now from the road. 1:15. That's... Pause. Long. I could hear her brain working. Hear memory clicking into place. Hear 3 years of grief and investigation and refusal to give up finally paying off. Jack. Her voice quiet now. Awed. Scared. Hopeful. All at once. Jack always said if anything happened to him, if anything seemed wrong, if he disappeared or died or anything didn't add up. Box 115, First Fidelity Bank. Box 115. He made me memorize it. Made me promise I'd remember. Made me swear I'd check it if he ever didn't come home. Standing up. Key clutched in her hand like a lifeline. Like proof. Like hope. Looking around. Scanning the darkness. Like she could sense me there, even though she couldn't see me. Looking for the motel even though it was invisible to the living. Looking for answers, even though she didn't know the questions yet. Jack, if you can hear me. Her voice loud now. Aimed at the night. At the rain that wasn't falling. At the motel she couldn't see. At the darkness. At me. If you're out there somewhere. If you left this for me. Pause. Emotion breaking through. Voice cracking. Professional mask slipping. I never believed it. Not for 1 second. Not when they said you killed her. Not when they planted that evidence in your apartment. Not when they showed me those fabricated financial records. Not when they told me to let it go. Never believed you were dirty or broken, or any of the things they said about you. I knew you, Jack. I knew you. You were the best cop I ever worked with. The most honest. The most dedicated. You cared about truth more than anything. More than your own life, apparently. Her voice getting stronger, angrier, more determined. The voice I remembered. The voice that never gave up. I knew you were murdered. I just couldn't prove it. Couldn't find the evidence. Couldn't make anyone listen. But now I can. I'm going to prove it now. I'm going to clear your name. I'm going to bring them all down. I promise you, Jack. I swear to God. She got back in her car. Engine started. Rough idle. Squeaky brake. The most beautiful sounds I'd ever heard. The car drove away. Toward San Francisco. Toward dawn. Toward a bank. Toward a safe deposit box. Toward justice. The car faded. Just rain starting again. Gentle. Forgiving. The rain stopped. Really stopped this time. And the sun started coming up. I'd forgotten what sunrise sounded like. The way the world wakes up. The way birds start singing. The way hope sounds. 3 years is a long time to live in. Perpetual night. 20 loops is longer. My mother appeared beside me. Not appearing. Just there. You did it, Jackie. You passed the torch. You broke the loop. After 20 tries, you did it. Will it work? Will she open the box? Will anyone believe her? She'll open it. Whether anyone believes her, that's not for us to control. But the truth will be out there. And truth has a way of finding believers. Pause. The sun getting brighter. Your loop is broken. You've solved your case. Found your killer. Passed on the evidence. You're free to leave now. Leave to where? That depends on you. Some go forward. Some go back. Some simply rest. We went back to the motel together. Both dead. Both free. The clerk stood in the office doorway, watching the sunrise. Well done, both of you. The truth thanks you. Will there be others? I asked. Always. As long as there are truths that need telling. The motel will be here. Waiting. Will you? Forever? As long as I'm needed. Maybe someday my own loop will break, but not today. He paused. But you two, you're done. You can go. My mother and I went to room 7 together. Inside, everything was the same. But there was something new. A door. On the wall where the bathroom should be. Warmth leaking through. Light. Voices beyond it. Ready? My mother asked. What's on the other side? I don't know exactly. But I know it's better than this. Better than loops and rain and dying over and over. She put her hand on the doorknob. Let's find out together. I put my hand over hers. The key I'd carried finally made sense. Not copper, not metal, but truth itself. The only thing that unlocks anything that matters. We opened the door. Light, warmth, voices welcoming us home. And for the first time in 3 years, I stopped counting. The newspapers called it the biggest police corruption scandal in San Francisco history. I counted. 14 arrests, 6 city officials, 12 police officers on the take, 17 witnesses willing to testify, 1 empire brought down by a key on a highway, 0 regrets. I counted because Jack had counted, because detectives count, because numbers don't lie when people do. My name is Sarah Prescott. Detective Sarah Prescott now. Jack would have laughed at that, getting promoted for solving his murder. I sat in my office, Jack's old office, and looked at the headlines. City councilman's empire built on blood and lies. Henderson laundering scheme exposed, dead detectives' evidence brings down crime ring. It had taken 3 months. 3 months of fighting. 3 months of people telling me the evidence was old, that Henderson was dead, that the case was closed, that some things were better left buried, that Jack's reputation was already destroyed, and nothing I did would change that. 3 months of me telling them to go to hell. 3 months of me refusing to stop. 3 months of waiting for justice. Because that's what Jack taught me. Never stop counting. Never stop investigating. Never walk away from truth. I opened box 115 with the key I'd found on that highway. The key that shouldn't have been there. The key that appeared on the 20th anniversary of Jack's death on a stretch of road I'd driven 19 times before without finding anything. The 20th time, I counted. Because Jack counted. Inside, everything. Evelyn Henderson's ledger showing millions in laundered money. Photographs of meetings that never officially happened. Recordings of conversations that were never supposed to be recorded. Witness statements from people who'd since disappeared or died under suspicious circumstances. Everything Jack had gathered in the week before he died. Everything he'd hidden 30 seconds before they kicked down the door. Everything he'd saved because he believed in truth more than he believed in his own life. Thomas Henderson was already dead. Heart attack 2 years ago. But his business partners weren't. The Giacalone family, all arrested, all awaiting trial. And Jack's name was cleared. Officially. The suicide ruling overturned. His badge reinstated posthumously. His reputation rebuilt. Not enough. Would never be enough to bring him back. But something. Justice delayed, but not denied. I looked at the photograph on my desk. Jack at the police academy. Young, idealistic. We did it, partner. 19 times you tried. 19 times you died. But the 20th time, we got them. Counting in my head. 3, 5. The way Jack used to. The case that broke you is finally solved. You can rest now. I hope wherever you are, you know. I hope you're resting. I hope you found whatever peace ghosts find when their cases are finally closed. Phone rang. Prescott. It's the DA, full confession from Mickey Strand. He's testifying against everyone. 30 years minimum for everyone involved. I closed my eyes. Let myself feel it. Victory. Justice. Good. That's good. Hung up. Looked out the window. Rain starting. The kind that washes things clean. The kind that remembers names. The kind that tastes like copper if you're driving towards something that's going to kill you. The motel still stands on that highway that isn't on any map. The neon sign still flickers. The Blue Motel. The clerk still tends his desk, still pours coffee, still watches the highway. 105 years and counting. Room 7 is empty now, clean, waiting. But sometimes, late at night when the rain falls soft, you can hear voices from that room. Laughter. The sound of a mother and son finally reunited. Finally, at peace. And if you listen very carefully, if you're driving late at night and thinking about things you never fixed, you might hear something else. A key turning in a lock, a number being counted, a truth being remembered. In room 13, Thomas Henderson relived his crimes. Over and over, forever and ever, world without end. Felt his wife's terror when she realized he was going to kill her. Every moment, every breath, every heartbeat, every prayer she whispered that he'd change his mind. 3 days of terror in this motel. He felt all of it now. Felt Jack Malone's determination as he tried to save her. Every choice to keep going when he should have stopped. Every moment of knowing he was going to die and doing it anyway. He felt all of it now. Felt his own mother's disappointment when he'd chosen money over morality. Felt her die knowing what her son had become. Felt her last words. "I'm sorry, I raised you wrong." He felt all of it now. The loop restarted. Same sounds, same feelings, same eternal punishment. Over and over. The loop that never breaks for those who refuse to see what they've done. The Blue Motel is democratic that way. Everyone gets what they deserve. The guilty get their jury room. The truth seekers get their peace. And the rest of us, we get the story, the lesson, the warning. We get to know that somewhere out there, there's a place where truth matters more than money. Where justice comes eventually. Where the dead can rest once their work is done. The Blue Motel, where nobody leaves until the truth gets its say.
The rain tastes like copper tonight, just like it did when Jack Malone drove toward the Blue Motel 3 years ago. Just like it will taste when the next person finds that stretch of highway that shouldn't exist. My name was Jack Malone. I was a detective for 8 years. I died doing my job. I died 20 times trying to finish one case, and I'd do it all again. Sarah Prescott found the truth, cleared my name, brought down an empire. Thomas Henderson found his jury room, his eternal sentence, his never-ending loop. And the Blue Motel? It's still out there, still waiting. The clerk still pours coffee. My mother still tends the first room. Some debts take decades to pay. Some truths wait generations to be spoken. Some mysteries are worth dying to solve. The Blue Motel is not hell. It's the jury room. Nobody leaves until the truth gets its say. Shadow and Sax Radio, transmitting from the spaces between midnight and memory. If this story kept you company in the dark, there are more cases on this channel waiting in the rain. Until we meet again in the dark, keep counting what matters. And if you see blue neon flickering on an empty highway, don't stop. But if you do, if you can't help yourself, if the truth is pulling you, room 7 is always vacant, the coffee's always hot, and the numbers never lie. Good night, listeners. Watch your rearview mirror. Some doors only open for the dead. The truth found me. It always does, even after the world forgets your name.
This has been a Shadow and Sax Radio production. The words have gone quiet, but the night is just getting started. Keep the lights low, settle in, and let the music take you the rest of the way. You're listening to Shadow and Sax Radio.
That night the rain kept falling, but she walked in like a quiet flame, a shadow draped in silver light, a woman I somehow knew by name. And oh, midnight lived in her eyes, soft as the truth and sharp as the lies. I tried to forget, I tried to disguise, but I fell into the dark of her eyes. She spoke like a secret whisper over the rim of a half-empty glass. Said love was a crime she never saw. Said time was the only thing that passed. And oh, midnight lived in her eyes, where all of my trouble and peace collide. I told myself run, I told myself hide, but I stayed in the dark of her eyes. If I ever make it out of this life, where the nights cut deep like knives, I'll still remember her soft disguise and how midnight lived in her eyes. Midnight lived in her eyes, soft as the truth and sharp as the lies. Maybe the stars were just goodbye signs, but I still drift through the dark of her eyes.
There's a room with no number at the end of a rain-lit hall, where memories sleep in corners and ghosts answer when you call. In that room with no number, I learned how hearts disappear. I opened the door to my past and found you still standing here. You said nothing lasts forever, but kept searching for the truth. In the shadows you left behind, in that room with no number, where we lost what we held dear. I walked in alone in the dark and found you still standing here. If the world forgets our story, let the rain remember our names. In the silence of that doorway, I still hear you calling my name. In that room with no number, where the past comes crystal clear, I opened the door to my life and found you still standing here.
I left my coat in the corner, left my heart on the bar. Too many nights, too many lies. I don't know who we are. Just cigarettes and alibis, drifting through the hazy skies. Everything we meant to say got lost in smoke along the way. You wore sadness like a necklace, hung low where the light can't reach. Said love was a lesson learned by hearts too broken to teach. Cigarettes and alibis, fading like the morning light. All the truth we tried to hide still follows us into the night. Maybe someday we'll forgive all the things we didn't do. But I still taste the smoke every time I think of you. Cigarettes and alibis, drifting where the silence lies. Maybe love was never wrong, We just ran out of time.
Velvet rain on a midnight street, soft as a touch of a faded dream. I walked alone through the memories of everything we used to be. Velvet rain falling slow, washing places we used to go. Every step pulls me back again, through the dark and the velvet rain. Your voice still echoes quietly in alleyways the moon forgot. You said love was a borrowed thing. We gave it everything we had not. Velvet rain falling slow, every drop knows what I know, that even when I break again, I'll find you in the velvet rain. Maybe hearts are made of storms, and maybe love's a passing train. But tonight I feel your warmth, walking with me in the rain. Velvet rain falling slow, whispering things we'll never show. I close my eyes and breathe again, lost with you in the velvet rain.
I've been driving down this highway, searching for a truth that ain't mine. Every mile another memory, left behind on the white line. It's a long way back to nowhere, where the ghosts still call my name. I keep chasing what I lost, but the road just stays the same. We were two fading silhouettes, caught in a world that came undone. You walked away in quiet tears, I stayed behind in the setting sun. It's a long way back to nowhere, where the past still burns like flame. I keep dreaming you'll return, but the night don't end the same. Maybe every broken promise is a map we never read. Maybe I should turn around, but I'll drive on instead. It's a long way back to nowhere, and I'm too far gone to change. But I still look for you out there, somewhere past the rain.
You held my heart like crystal, said you'd keep it safe and warm, but fragile things break easy when they're dancing in a storm. Now I've got these glass heart blues, shattered pieces, scattered truths. Every edge still cuts your name, every sparkle feels the same. I tried to sweep the memories, but the shards refuse to fade. They glitter under moonlight, like the promises we made. Yeah, these glass heart blues, heavy as the things we lose. I should run, but I can't choose. I still bleed the glass heart blues. One day I'll learn to let go, let the sunlight pull me through. But tonight I hold each fragment just to feel a piece of you. These glass heart blues cut right through the life I knew, but a heart that breaks in two. to beat anew.
Fell hard on the window, but your shadow never came through. I waited with the lights down low, still hoping I'd hear from you. But the night don't know your name, it just drifts on all the same. I keep calling into the dark, but the silence never sparks. Every street remembers something, but the truth is never kind. I lost myself in your memory, somewhere I can't rewind. The night don't know your name, and I'm the only one to blame. You walked off into the past, while I stayed where shadows last. Maybe love is just a mirror we hope reflects us back again. But all I see in this reflection is a man trying to pretend. No, the night don't know your name, won't whisper it in the rain. Guess it's time to let you go, though my heart says not yet. Slow.
You kissed me with soft red lipstick, said the truth was overrated. Every word dripped sweet and wicked, every promise sugar-coated. Soft red lipstick lies, painting truth in thin disguise. I knew better, yet I stayed, caught beneath the games we played. You whispered dreams in low light, held me like a borrowed sin. I should have left before the sunrise, but you pulled me back again. Soft red lipstick lies, falling slow like lullabies. just to feel your hands in mine. Maybe love's a smoky mirror where we choose the things we see, and the lies we wrap in color feel like truth to lonely hearts like me. Soft red lipstick lights still haunt me in the night. If loving you was my mistake, I'd make it twice on sight.
I used to think I needed peace somewhere far away from you, but quiet feels like emptiness, and truth tastes better without you. I'm broken without the blues, without late nights and missing you. I thought healing meant letting go, but I lost myself in the afterglow. I've walked these streets in circles, trying to find a brand new start, but every corner calls your name. Every silence breaks my heart. Yeah, I'm broken without the blues, without the ghost we never used. Guess some love stays right inside long after the hurt has died. Maybe someday I'll forget all the ways we came undone. But even when the pain is gone, the blues keep playing on. I'm broken without the blues, without the storm we once lived through. If loving you was my excuse, then I'll stay broken with the blues.
Rainfall on my window, soft as secrets from the past. I whispered everything I felt, but the night moved on too fast. Rainfall confessions fading with the dawn. All the truths we left unsaid still echo when you're gone. You held me like a promise, but your eyes were somewhere else. I tried to love the part of you you never loved yourself. Rainfall confessions slipping through my hands. I kept reaching for your love, but you lived in distant lands. Maybe I was meant to wander, maybe you were meant to roam, but the rain still tells our story when the world feels too alone. Rainfall confessions falling soft and slow. I keep hearing what you meant in the words you didn't show.
Give me a little time to forget you. A few more nights to lose the ache. I'm learning how to breathe again, even if every breath might break. Just a little time to forget you, though you linger like a tune. I keep hearing what we used to be every night beneath the moon. Maybe love is just a rhythm some hearts never learn to play, but I keep humming memories that won't quite fade away. A little time to forget you and the world we almost knew. If tomorrow feels less heavy, that's the best that I can do. One day I'll walk a new road where your shadow doesn't fall, but tonight I'll drink to quiet dreams and try not to think at all. A little time to forget you, though part of me hopes I won't. If letting go means losing you, I might choose the road that don't.
shining where the raindrops fall. I walk alone in quiet steps, but I still hear your call. Moonlight on the mile, pulling me through every trial. If I ever find you again, I'll walk with you a while. Street lamps hum like memory, flickering soft in silver haze. I trace the lines of yesterday through every shadowed maze. Moonlight on the mile, where the nights still reconcile. Every dream I lost with you still waits within that mile. Maybe love is just a journey marked by echoes, marked by style. But I follow where the moon leads, knowing you're the final mile. Moonlight on the mile, I'll keep walking for a while. If tomorrow brings me home, I'll greet it with a smile.
That's Shadow and Sax Radio. Until next time, stay smooth.